as I say, there's one more thing that I want to do here with you in Illustrator, and that is set up a calendar inside the layout sidebar. Let me just zoom in here for a second. If you recall, there was a calendar of events that sat at the top of the sidebar, right? So we're going to go and build that, but we're not actually going to go and build it. We're going to go and borrow it from somewhere else. There's something called the Yahoo design stencils. I believe that's what it's called anyway. So what I'd like you to do is flip over to your web browser and do a quick Google search for Yahoo design stencil, and go ahead and click on the first search result there. It should be Design Stencils Design Pattern Library from the Yahoo Developer Network. And that will bring you onto this page here, right? Now, I didn't even know, for the longest time, I didn't even know this existed, but there's all kinds of cool interface UI elements, if you will. There's sliders, and there's our calendar we're going to use. There's all kinds of things, tabs and toggle buttons and all sorts of stuff, right? So if you scroll down just a little bit, you'll see an area there for downloads, and you can download this stencil kit, if you will, in a variety of different file formats. So I happen to grab the PDF file format because I know it will work in Illustrator. So go ahead and download that guy, and then give me a moment here. I'm just going to flip over to my Finder and basically hide everything else that I have. And you should wind up with a zip file, hopefully sitting either in your downloads folder or perhaps on your desktop, wherever your downloads are saved. Go ahead and open up or expand that zip file, and you'll wind up with all of these fantastic UI elements. Amazing. Really speeds things up when you're developing things and even when you're wireframing things out. So the guy that we're after is called calendars.pdf. I hope you got the file downloaded. I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to right-click on him. This will work both on the Mac and on the PC side. Go down to Open With, and then choose Adobe Illustrator. Now, I happen to be running CS5 here. Okay, that's going to open the PDF up inside Illustrator, and there's the calendar that I want to use. This first guy right here, you can see there's a bunch of different options that we can use depending on what it is that we're building, right? If I zoom in on this guy, by the way, all of the individual components of this object are all individual components. In other words, they're not flat. It isn't made out of pixels. It isn't flattened, if you will. It's all fully editable, if you will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything here. Just click and drag right around that entire calendar object. I'm going to copy it, Command-C or Control-C if you're on the PC side. We can close out of this file, head back into our original layout, and maybe what I'll do, at least initially, is just paste this guy over on the right-hand side. So go ahead and paste there, Command or Control-V. There we go, something like that. And maybe what I'll do is I'll extend this guy out a little bit, sort of scale him up a little bit. And I'm going to zoom in on this guy just a bit, because what you might want to do, and this is completely optional, but you might want to change some of the colors inside this calendar. For instance, we have our set of colors, our color palette that we already developed for our layout, right? So check this out. Let's see. I'm going to grab one of the numbers inside the calendar. Notice he's filled with this dark blue there. And I'm going to say up to the select menu and then down to same, and then I will say fill color. In other words, I want to say select all the objects inside this file that have the same fill color. Boom. There they are. And I'm going to fill them with that base dark red that we had set up. There we are. Awesome. I'm going to grab this dark blue rectangle if I can in the background. There we go. And maybe I'll fill that guy using this darker red that I had established, right? Maybe something like that. And let's see. I mean, we could be at this for hours. Maybe I'll take this frame here. See that frame around the 26th there? Take that guy. Make sure the stroke is in the foreground there. And maybe I'll change that to my base color, but then I guess I could leave it like that. That's kind of cool. Or what I could do is, again, back inside the color palette, switched me out of my CMYK sliders. Go back to CMYK there, and then use that little holding down shift and dragging trick to create a lighter version of the same color. Maybe if you want. I mean, it's entirely up to you. Anyway, there's the calendar there. I'm going to select the whole shebang now and group it, and then zoom out just a little bit. Again, grouping is Control-Command-G, and then position this guy up. Maybe something about like that. There we go. There's our calendar. Looks pretty darn good. Hit Tab to shut off your panels and your toolbox. Hit Control-Command-1 to zoom to 100%. And there's our, I'm pretty sure anyway, our completed layout. At least as far as we wanted to take it anyway, inside Illustrator. Of course, there's still lots more to do regarding our layout inside Photoshop. So I'm excited to get this layout now out of Illustrator and over into Photoshop.